Okay, it's good to see that still people are coming. So, welcome everybody at the last day of the conference. I hope you had a great stay in Boston so far. My name is Gabo Beshnyi. I'm from Morphologic Localization, and I'm this year in the program committee. And I'm happy to introduce to you George and Jason from Buffin Language Group, and they will give you a masterclass, some session about video localization.
Thank you. Thank you, Gilbert. Okay, so it's brave. I think it's brave for you to have 2 days conference and have the 90 minutes masterclass. Wow. Thank you for coming. Oops. Okay. My name is George Zhao from Buffin Language. I'm also a CEO of Video Localize. So here's a little bit background information about who are we. Buffin is an Asian language service provider. So we are LSP ourselves. And Video Localize is a new development of us. So we started development of Video Localize in 2006 in the summer. So now Video Localize is a spin-off of Buffin. Okay, so I'm sorry we are a little bit late. So now let's get started. Okay, Jason, now the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jason. First, welcome to our master class. Glad to see everybody. Today, I'm going to share some general knowledge about videos from video localization perspective. Before we talk about videos, let me ask you a question. So when we say the word video, what's the type of video that come to your mind first? Can you just get a show of hands? How many of you think about YouTube videos? How about movies? How about TV commercials? Okay, that's good. So these are all different type of videos. From our own experience, we usually divide videos roughly into 4 categories. So based on 2 factors, the video duration and the video quality. So on this grid, we have long videos on the right side of the x-axis, and on the top, we have high-quality, fancy videos with high production cost. On the top right quadrant, we have movies. They are usually very long and are with high production quality and cost. On the top left quadrant, we have TV ads. They are usually short, last about 30 seconds to a couple minutes, but still professionally produced. But what about not so professionally produced videos and low-budget videos? Well, in this category, we have long videos like e-learning videos, webinars. Sometimes they last about a few hours. But for today's purpose, we're going to focus on the type of videos in the lower quadrants, which are not so professionally produced and low-budget videos. Let me just show you a couple 10-minute clips of what videos we're talking about today. So first, let me show you a e-learning clip.
To make sure food handlers keep food safe, you're going to need to know how people can contaminate food, how and when to wash hands correctly, and the correct way to use gloves in the operation. Then we'll talk about the personal hygiene standards that you and your food handlers need to maintain, and what to do if an employee in your operation gets sick.
Okay, I think you get the idea. So as you can see, this video is not so fancy. Another example would be product training videos. Let me show you just a few clips.
This video will introduce you to Valor Data Prep Express, an easy-to-use and
This is
intuitive
screencast
platform,
video.
allowing you to quickly convert CAD data into panel CPL data.
So these are the videos we're going to focus on today. All right. So what is a video exactly? Well, from a technical perspective, a video is just a group of still pictures playing at fast speed combined with audio. So each individual image is called a frame. The changing frames create the illusion of moving images. The minimum speed to achieve that is by displaying at least 16 frames per second. We call this frame rate. Movies are usually played at 24 frames per second. So if you are watching a movie, 24 images flash in front of your eyes every second. Most phones in our pockets can record a video at 60 frames per second. Some phones can even do 240 frames per second. So it's hard to imagine what is capable in such small devices. But there's more to it. A video is just more than a group of pictures. From video production perspective, if we look at the actual content of a video, it's consisted of many components. We have the video itself, subtitles and caption, on-screen text, background music, sound effects, and if you are localizing a video, you will also have voiceovers. It's very important to break down and identify those components before starting a localization project. And video also come in different formats. In a localization project, sometimes we need them in specific formats. We're going to talk about the formats later on. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the components we should pay attention to when dealing with the video localization from a video localization perspective. So first, we have subtitles and captions. They are crucial parts of video localization. People often use the terms caption and subtitles interchangeably. In some cases, however, they are used with a distinction. In the film and TV industry, subtitles usually refer to a transcript of the dialogue. They are the text version for spoken words. On the other hand, captions are more captions are more than just transcript of the dialogue. They contain extra instructions for the deaf or hard of hearing. Let me show you what I mean. So this is a screenshot of movie. On the bottom, you can see the subtitle on the bottom. They're just direct transcript of the dialogue, pretty straightforward. But sometimes the term subtitles also refers to translations for people who don't speak the language of the video. The video could be in a foreign language, but the subtitle displaying at the bottom could be a native language of the audience. Captions. In general, captions contain extra information for deaf or hard of hearing. They usually display in square brackets. So for example, loud bang, explosion, music, applause, etc. It's basically describing what's happening on the screen. Captions are meant to replace all sound, not just dialogue. Captions can also be used as a tool by those learning to read, learning to speak a non-native language. Or they can be used by viewers who simply wish to read a transcript along with the program audio. There are two kinds of captions, closed caption and open caption. Let me talk about open caption first. In this context, open captions are effectively burned into the video footage and cannot be switched off, even if the viewer don't want to see it. When creating open caption, the video was re-encoded and images were altered to include the caption text. Once complete, the text is part of the video. It no longer exists separately from the video. So what's the advantage? Well, open caption will display on any device that displays the video. No support for captioning is necessary. It has better compatibility with video players. Because the caption is embedded into the video, it will display in the same format, same font type, color, and the size regardless of the device. No matter it's in the movie theater, on TV, computer, or mobile phone. But on the other hand, the disadvantage is that the text is now part of the video. You can turn them off. It will scale with the video and distort if you change the video aspect ratio. So this is different kind of caption, closed caption. It's a common feature available in many online video platforms. It has been around for a while. This is a screenshot of video with closed caption turned on. On most video players, you can do this by clicking on the tiny icon with the letter CC at the bottom. This is a common feature available on many platforms. Closed caption is displayed and controlled by a video player, typically delivered as a separate file. They are rendered by player at playtime. This is a huge benefit because that means they can be switched off by the user and it can be customized however the users like. Settings like text size, colors, fonts, background color can be changed from video player itself. Another huge benefit of closed caption is that you can alter the caption text after the video is published without republishing the video. So if an error is found in the caption, you can just swap out the closed caption file and everyone will see the updated closed caption. We love closed caption a lot because they are very versatile and can be easily manipulated without touching the video. Let me just show you a sample of what the closed caption looks like. So here's the video with closed caption turned on. This is YouTube. As you can see on the bottom right, this tiny icon here, I already turned it on. And when I play this video, you will see closed caption showing at the bottom portion of the screen. As you can see, as the music plays, the closed caption reflects that. This is something you don't see in subtitles.
We are a small design team.
Okay, let me pause here. As I said before, closed caption can be manipulated at video playtime. So let me change some settings so you will see what I mean. So let's say if the font is too small, we can change that. Go to settings, options, and you can see there are a bunch of settings. So let me change the font size first. Let's change it to 100%. And maybe change the background color to green. And we can change the font color to maybe, say, blue. This is a common feature available in many video players. And we can even drag the subtitle, the caption around. So if it's blocking important part of the video, you can do that as well. All right. All right, let's continue. As I mentioned before, closed caption is delivered in a separate file. Here is what the file typically look like. This is an example of closed caption file. They also come in different formats. This particular one is in subrip format. It includes the caption text and starting, ending time for each individual segments. There are some other formats which include more extra information about the subtitle. They can include styling information, like you can embed the color or position of the segments into the subtitle file itself. I want to talk about a different category of text displayed on video. I want to do a little test. So I'm going to show you a 10 seconds clip and see if you can identify the on-screen text in the video. I'm going to pause whenever there's text display on the screen, and I will ask you if you can tell. All right, here we see our first text. How many of you think this should be considered on-screen text? Please, can you get me a show of hands? So there are some text display on the screen, and it's important to identify some of the on-screen text because they should be translated. And I'm just showing you a few examples of some of them are on-screen text or some of them are not. So for this one, if you think it's on-screen text, please raise up your hands. Okay? Okay, most of you, that's good. So this is actually on-screen text, and when you are doing a video localization project, this is something that should be translated. Okay, here's another one. If you think this is on-screen text, please raise up your hands. Okay, a few of you. So actually, this particular one is not considered as on-screen text. They are text for sure, but they are part of the video. They are part of video content, and the text was recorded when at the filming stage. So they are not considered on-screen text. So let me give you an official definition for on-screen text. So on-screen texts are usually not included during filming. They are added to a video at post-production stage. They often include important information and need to stay on screen long enough at sufficient size that viewers can read it. So in the first example, those are on-screen text. They are added after the video was filmed. It's important to identify on-screen text because during the localization process, on-screen texts are meant to be translated, but not text content in the video like we see in the second example. Do you have a question?
Another question is a comment. Sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Speak to the microphone, please.
Yes, it's just a comment. Sometimes you need to translate those text on the screen that's included in the TV, included in the images. For example, when you say someone entering in a movie, if you someone entering in a building and shows the sign of that building, that's not included in the script. But if you don't translate it, the viewers cannot understand what kind of building it is and what this character is doing. So sometimes you have to, immediately translate it also.
Yeah, that's right. That's a very good example. So signs in movies are a very good example. They are not, even though they are not considered on-screen text, but it's still helpful to maybe include the transcription in the caption so users can understand the signs. That's a very sure.
If it's on-screen text,
oh, sorry.
If on-screen text is the text that's layered on top of the image, what is there a name for the text that's embedded like in the actual video that's been filmed? Does that have a name?
I call it text content in video. I don't know if there's an official name for that. Inserts? Thank you.
Inserts? Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Can I? Sorry.
So just a quick technical information. The mic is required for the recording. So this is because even if everybody can hear for the recording, it would be great to use the mic. So.
Okay, I will explain more about on-text localization in my parts. Okay, thank you.
Let's continue to next slide. Source files and formats. To properly start a video localization project, we need all components of the source videos in separate files. These files are usually referred as source files. They typically include video, audio, image, and text files. And these are some of the common formats you will see. If your video was made in a video editor, it should be straightforward to export those source files and then send them out for localization. This is what the source files typically look like in a video project. Once we have all the individual files, we are able to localize them separately. Just to give you some ideas how these source files work together, I'm going to show you a short video demo. So what you see here is a screenshot, actually it's a video screencast of a video editor. So on the bottom left portion, you will see all the imported source files, including videos, images, and text. On the right side, we have the source files in different tracks. And during the video editing stage, we are able to turn individual tracks on or off, so you can manipulate them separately. And we're going to play a short clip of a video first, starting with everything turned off with the video only. So you will only see the video image without any sound or audio. This is just to show you that we are able to manipulate separate tracks. And next one, we're going to turn on the voiceover.
This is my story of returning home to the land of the eternal spring, to the people of the corn who built towering cities of limestone in verdant jungles. My land, my people, my history.
And we're going to turn on the background music.
This is my story of returning home to the land of the eternal spring, to the people of the corn who built towering cities of limestone in verdant jungles. My land, my people, my history.
And now we're going to turn on the on-screen text.
This is my story of returning home to the land of the eternal spring, to the people of the corn who built towering cities of limestone in verdant jungles. My land, my people, my history.
All right. So as you can see, it's very important to separate those tracks when you are creating a video. So in the video localization stage, we are able to manipulate them separately. Okay, so we have talked about some general knowledge about video. We talk about subtitles, captions, on-screen text, voiceovers, and we have seen what they look like during video post-production stage. Now, we're going to invite George back to talk more about challenges we might encounter during video localization process. But before we do that, do we have any questions about the slides we have seen so far? No? Okay, then I will invite George back.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Hi, okay. Okay, so let's take a look to the challenges in video localization. So, okay, so let me move on. So can I ask you, how many of you have localized a video yourself? Raise your hand. Wow, okay. So you have a lot of experience. So let's take a look how to localize a video from a localization perspective. So there are actually a lot of challenges to localize a video. Let's start to look at it. So video is a very special media of content. It contains text, pictures, voices, and audios. So I'm going to talk about challenges for localizing the localizable parts, like subtitles, on-screen text, and I'm going to also talk about the voiceover and some challenges in post-production. Let's talk about subtitle first. So, subtitle is most popular for localization because it's text-based. Here is a short video. Let's take a look.
Hi, and welcome to Localization Essentials. My name is Sven, and I'm from Norway.
And I'm Christina from Lebanon. We both work as part of the localization team here at Google and will be your guides into the world of localization.
Okay, this is welcome of Google localization course. So challenge one, to localize this video, you can put a subtitle on it. So to translate the subtitle, the subtitle can be in text format or in SRT format. So like this, to translate this subtitle, the first challenge is sometimes translators need to deal with broken sentences. Look at the segments 4, 5, 6. So this is actually one sentence, like this. Oh, there's no cursor. Do I have a pointer or something? So it's one sentence, but in English subtitle, it's broken. So due to a broken script, translators have to put translation for each segment accordingly. Oh, thank you, Jim. The first one. Oh, that's good. The translators have to put translation for each segment accordingly. Like this example, there are 3 segments of one translation. So it's harder when word order in target language is not as the same as in source. For example, if translation starts from source, insert segment first. So it happens for some languages, right? So the challenge 2 is finding the segment position in the video. To understand correctly the segment, when translating, translator may need to refer to video segment to see what is displaying in the video. How to refer to the video segment for context? So for example, I need to find segment 3. Segment 3 starts from 6.4 seconds. Okay, let me try.
So what is localization? In the world of information technology...
Okay, so I don't have a play bar here, so you got the idea. So to looking for a specific position in the video is not very easy. So I have to use time code and find it manually. It's not easy to check video segments one by one like this. And the third challenge for subtitle localization is the translation length, the length limit, because each subtitle has a display time. For instance, segment 3 is displayed from 6.4 seconds to 8.4 seconds. So the display time is 2 seconds. Actually, in each language, there is a general reading speed measured by number of characters per second. If the reading speed is 18 characters per second in target language, the length limit is 36 characters for this segment. So that means the translator only can use 36 characters for translation. So translators can't translate this subtitle segment in too many words. The translators may have to count the length of characters when translating. So this is the kind of thing it's different with our general translation project. Okay, Okay, now let's see the challenges for on-screen text translation. So to dealing with on-screen text, the first problem is tools. So video editing, there are many video editing tools. So, like Jason just mentioned, on-screen text is another layer of video, so you need to deal with video editing tools. So there are many tools like this. So the challenge is maybe you need all of them. So your engineers have to familiar with them because you never know which one is used by your client. And as Jason introduced earlier, source video files are a bunch of files, not just only one file like MP4. So for source video files, when we do a project, we always assume they are available. Just ask, but it's not true. So when we ask our client for source video files, they often don't have them. So the reason may be because of client's internal process. The one who working on localization is not the one who produced the video. So there may be a communication gap in client side. And also the production house client used to generate video always reluctantly to provide source files. So we need to get prepared working without source files. So can we localize on-screen text without source files? So the answer is yes and no. It depends on where on-screen text is and how it's displayed. So I have two examples. Okay, let's take a look at the left one first.
There are a lot of dangers to food safety out there, and one of the biggest is people. A lot of the things food handlers do.
Okay. So here is on-screen text. So to localize this one without source files, it's possible because the text is not moving too much, and the background is same background. It's white, so it's easy to localize. And let's look at this example. So this one is very difficult to replace, right? So the text keep changing and background is complicated. It's very hard to replace it. So like we just talked about, if the text is shoot when shooting is included, like a sign or something, so this kind of text sometimes very difficult to replace. Maybe the solution, maybe you can put a translation just close to it, or include your translation in subtitle. So this is different with on-screen text inserted in post-production. So if you have a source file, that's easy to be replaced. Okay, for on-screen text, there are some more challenges. So scope work. So when talking to the client about the scope work about on-screen text, so make sure client is on the same page. We had a client who asked us to make change to on-screen text for a subtitle project without providing source files. So in video editing tools, there is no difference actually between on-screen text and subtitle. Subtitle can be made in the same way of on-screen text for the source language. But in our industry, we usually localize subtitles without touching source files. So subtitles are just an add-on to the video. So it's challenging to clarify with the client what included in your quote. So dealing with on-screen text, there's a lot of more engineering work than dealing with subtitles. and translation. So there is no extraction tool for video on-screen text. So we usually copy and paste on-screen text to Excel file and translate it and cost and paste it back. So, and sometimes to be able to translate on-screen text, translators need to see where the text is. So like this example, there are some small text here everywhere. So for translators to understand it well, they need to see it. But again, to find it in the video is not that easy because for on-screen text, there's no time code. Okay, so far so good. Any questions about on-screen text? Okay. Okay, now let's talk about recording. So recording is, for our industry, we are not pretty much familiar with recording. So this is new to our industry. So with script translated, we can do recording. So may I ask how many of you have worked with studio or voiceover talent? Raise your hand, please. Okay, half. Okay, good. So actually, there is a long history for voiceover service. It has been serving the filming industry for a very long time. When you need a voiceover or dubbing service, you may think about a studio, right? So look at this picture. So this is a typical studio. There are a lot of fancy devices, right? And the voice talent is in this room, behind the glass. So it's soundproofed. So what are these guys here? So look at an example of a workflow for a studio. It's too small to read, okay? So look at this voice part. So you can see there are many people involved. Director, voice actor, tracking engineer, editing engineer, mixing engineer, quality control, language monitor. Oh, wow, a lot of people involved beside the voice talent. So because of this, video recording cost is high and turnaround time is long. So the reason for this, I think, is because most audios are designed for fancy voiceover work, like a movie or TV commercials, for public consumption. There is a lot of profit can be made from movies, TV series. So it's not designed for not fancy business videos, which are usually made for internal use or a small target market. So the biggest challenge for voiceover recording is high cost and long turnaround time. Okay. So to work with studio and voice talent, you also need to understand the pricing model. So it's different from what we are familiar with. So it took me some time to understand it. So first, minimum fee. Minimum fee is in a large range than in translation industry. It could be $50 or $300. So because each voice is unique, it's not very easy to negotiate. In translation industry, it doesn't matter too much who translates it as long as it's good. So a minimum fee is per speaker. If you are working on a 1-minute video, has 3 speakers, maybe you need to be charged the minimum fee 3 times. So, and second, so do you care how your translation to be used? For example, do you charge differently when your client uses the translation for personal purpose or commercial purpose? So in translation industry, we usually don't. So we charge same, right? But for voiceover industry, they charge differently. So when you use voice for business purpose, you have to buy commercial rights. So for our industry, so we always use voice for business purpose. So be sure that you buy commercial rights. And if you use the voice for TV advertisement, you have to buy full broadcast rights. So they charge by audience, the number of audience the voice can be reached. So this is a different concept. So this kind of pricing model is not working very well sometimes for LSPs like us. So because we don't know where the video will be used by the client. And the client project manager may don't know either. So it always costs time to clarify where your video going to be used. And last, time recording costs much more. So if you talk about recording, you need to clarify with voice talent if it is a timed recording or just a general recording. The price is so different. For recording, another challenge is to avoid re-recording. So it's not easy to make a change for recording. So for our industry, if we like to change something, a term or something, text-based is very easy to be changed. But recording is hard. So re-recording costs sometimes a lot of money and time. So it's not surprise for voice talent charge $50 or more for just a few words re-recording. So here are some tips to avoid re-recording. So always ask client to prove the translated text before recording start. Set a pronunciation guide with the client. This is important for brand names, product names, and how to read numbers like this. This is we can read this like a T700 or T700, right? So different client has different preference. And sometimes the English pronunciation is a problem. So we once used a good voice talent for Mandarin voiceover, but his English pronunciation was terrible. We didn't notice that when casting because the voice sample he provided only in Mandarin, no English words. But unfortunately, there were English words like product names in the script. So we had to correct his English pronunciation one by one and did re-recording for every sentences that contained the English words. So a lot of work. So this is not just a pronunciation problem. Sometimes they just read the English word incorrectly. Okay. So then, let's move onto the challenge for dubbing and synchronization. The biggest challenge for video dubbing is the length. So let me show you an example. You can see here that English audio is 6 seconds in blue track. And the Spanish voiceover is 9 seconds in green track.
Localization means translating and adapting a product or service to a particular language, culture, and geographic market.
Spanish.
La localización significa traducir y adaptar un producto o servicio a un idioma, cultura o mercado geográfico particular.
So you can see Spanish is longer. So when a segment being translated and recorded in another language, the length of the recording will be different, longer or shorter. So this is very common because in a general recording session, voice talent don't know how long the original sentence is. Due to the length difference, voiceover and video needs to be synchronized or dubbed. So generally speaking, there are two kinds of dubbing, voice replacement and lip syncing. So for the Google course video, here is an example. Okay, let's see this again.
So what is localization? In the world of information technology, localization means translating and adapting a product or service to a particular language, culture, and geographic market.
So he spoke for three segments. Let's see the Spanish, dubbed Spanish video.
Entonces, ¿qué es la localización? En el mundo de la tecnología de la información, la localización significa traducir y adaptar un producto o servicio a un idioma, cultura o mercado geográfico particular.
So if you pay attention to his mouth movement, you can see it's dubbed, it's synchronized. So this is just look like the person is speaks Spanish. So, but this is voice replacement. This is not lip syncing. A lot of times people talking about lip syncing. Whoops. Ooh, what happened? Oh, that, okay. So a lot of times people talking about lip syncing, but lip syncing requires much more than this. The person's mouth movement in target language, if you do lip syncing, it needs to be very similar with the source language. So for example,
So what is localization?
Oops. Oh, I don't have a bar to play this. So the last sentence, the last word in English is market. So his mouth closed at the end. But for Spanish, it's particular, like open. So for lip syncing, when translated, you need to find the right word to have same mouth movement. So this is very, very difficult, actually, very, very difficult. Sure.
For lip syncing, you would actually translate differently so that, position. Sorry, my question was are you saying for lip syncing the actual translation might be done specifically to make decisions about what words are used and what the position of the mouth would be based on the position of you try to almost match mouth positions as much as possible?
Yes.
Interesting.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So actually for lip syncing, it requires like a syllable to syllable translation. So this is very difficult to do. I think very few people can do it actually. So lip syncing is mostly for filming industry. It's very, very expensive to do it. So I'm not going to talk too much about lip syncing. So for our industry, we do a lot more about business videos. So it's not very necessary to do lip syncing. Like this example, so voice replacement is, for most cases, is good enough. Okay, how to synchronize video and audio. So there are two ways to do it: timed recording or post-editing. So timed recording means to let the voice talent matches the length of the video when recording. But this is not an easy job because the voice talent may has to try many times to match them. So this is why timed recording is much expensive than general recording. Okay, another way to synchronize video and audio is to edit the length of video and audio to match them in post-production. So it looks at, let's look at the method we have. There are two usual methods to match the audio and video. The method one, speed up the voiceover. Voiceover can be speed up without changing the pitch. Okay, let's try. So let me play the original. Let me play this first.
En el mundo de la tecnología de la información.
Okay, let's hear this one, speed up.
En el mundo de la tecnología de la información,
So you can hear voice, Spanish is a little bit faster, but the pitch is still same, right? So when voice being sped up, the length is getting shorter. Method 2, slow down the video. Video also can be played a little bit slower to match the video length. Video is getting longer when slowed down. Let me play this. So you can see it's slow. So, but this is just for demo. For a real project, it can't be slowed down this much. So actually, you can't tell it's been slowed down, very little. So the challenge for synchronization in post-production is that it's very time-consuming to do it manually. So no matter speed up voice or slow down the video, one segment like this is about like 6 seconds. So in a project, there can be a lot of such segments like this. 1 minute video may have 10 or more segments. That's the reason video dubbing is currently very expensive, especially for long videos, such as learning videos, which can run over an hour or more, with like hundreds or even thousands of segments like this. Okay, so this is about recording and on-screen text and subtitles. So any questions so far? Okay. Okay, now let's look at the whole picture of the video and the business from localization perspective and opportunities. So video is booming. Here are some data. YouTube has 1.3 billion users and 5 billion videos are watched every single day on YouTube. Yeah, it's amazing, right? Yeah. And 80% of YouTube's views are from outside of the United States. Well, this is very important for our industry. So according to Cisco, video traffic is growing fast. It will grow fourfold from 2015 to 2020, and most importantly, business video will be 66% of business traffic. So why video is so popular for business? So not only for entertainment. So traditionally, videos are movies and TV shows, right? According to our research, video is much easier to understand. So our brain processes 60,000 times faster process video, 60,000 times faster than text. So we say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So what about a video? A group of fast playing pictures, voice and music, so a lot of media. So, have you ever learned how to dance? Let's learn cha-cha, okay? This is the instruction. Forward, left foot, replace right foot. You have to imagine how to dance, right? Yeah. and the beat is 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay, what about this?
I'm going to start with the gentleman's part. And what we're going to do is start with our basic action again, guys. We're going to start with our left foot to our side. 1, 2, 3, cha-cha, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Now, as we rock back...
Much easier, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So I do believe in the future, you won't be reading most of text content, but you will be watching it. So video is future content. So video localization has been around for a long time, multimedia localization. But not everybody embrace it in the industry. So why? I read a very interesting article from Multilingual magazine by Jim Compton addressed this issue. So fortunately, Jim himself is here today. Hi, Jim.
Hi.
Yeah. So can you tell us your story?
Sure, yeah.
So this is just an interesting anecdote. When I was at Adobe used to have this thing called the Localization Special Interest Group session in San Jose. I don't know if anyone has been there, but they would take their enterprise customers for Adobe Experience Manager and have them come in and ask them how can they make their platform and their product easier to do globalization and localization. I thought it was a super cool idea. And this one session, the product manager for their digital asset management system or part of their platform was there. And he was having a really difficult time getting people to contribute like how this product could be better for globalization. And he asked the question, how many of you are localizing your videos? Like no one raised their hand. He's like, how many people are not localizing their videos? And like everyone raised their hand. And there was kind of an uncomfortable elephant in the room. And so I had to ask him, like, why are you not doing that? And this guy looks at me, he's kind of like, what's wrong with you? It's like, because it's too damned expensive. And everyone was like nodding their head. And it was interesting for me because I was like, too damned expensive. Okay, I sort of intuitively understood that to be true. But then I thought, this is a whole channel of communication that is not accessible to, that's like locked in a particular language. And it just seemed like a disturbance in the force to me. So anyway, it struck with me. So thanks, George.
Thank you, Jim. It was 2013, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Question here. Couple. A question there.
Yeah, thank you. Cornelia Sittel from Salesforce Commerce Cloud. So since I see Gabor running around here, I'm making himself useful. Can we imagine something in the future where I have a background in speech recognition. I worked 7 years for Dragon. So could we imagine something where we recognize the speech in the videos, and then something like MT, this is where Gabo comes in, would help then translate it, and maybe in a side panel or in subtitles, we could at least get a rough translation of videos on YouTube that are not, highly instructional, don't come from a big corporation, like everyday user content. Is that down the road, maybe?
Yeah, you can do it now. Yeah, you can do it now. Yeah, you can do it now. Actually, we tried that. So speech recognition in video, MT, and then TTS. So we tried. It's pretty fun. But the quality, the quality is depends. Yeah, it depends. First, the quality. Factor affected the quality is recognition, speech recognition. If there's no music in the background, it's better. It's better. But with music or sound effect, it's not very good for speech recognition. And also the translation of machine translation, right? That's also a factor. And TTS is getting better and better. I'll mention TTS later. TTS is getting better, but it still depends on which language, which kind of content. So it's happening now, actually. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue.
So why video or multimedia localization is too damn expensive? So I think high dubbing cost is the main reason. So one of the reasons for the high dubbing cost is because voiceover artists are charged high. So why? So they are highly trained and serving high request factors such as movie and movie dubbing. And because of fast growing of online streaming platform like Netflix, the market lacks of voiceover artists. According to voices.com, the global voiceover market is worth $4.4 billion US dollars. So it's pretty much same size with our industry. And the majority business is from entertaining. Is from entertainment is 58%, and advertisement 19%. And they produce what I call fancy videos. So business sector is 18%, and the education is only 5%. So it seems the voiceover industry is not focusing on business and education industries, because these two industries don't need to make fancy videos and to use such high-cost professional voice artists. So when I first worked with professional voice artists, I was shocked by their charge. For a few minutes, recording costs us $300. And any change may cost $200 more. So because it's another session, so they charge by sessions. So do we need a highly trained, very professional voice artist to dub a training video? So I think most of the time it's not necessary. Once we did a Mandarin voice for a client, and the video was a technical training. So we hired a very professional voice artist who used to be a former news broadcaster. So when the client watched the final video, even though he didn't understand Mandarin, he said, "The voice is great, but it doesn't sound like an engineer." So clearly, in this case, the voice talent we used was overqualified, too professional sounding. So one alternative for voiceover is to work with native speakers who have great voices and are willing to do voiceover work. See, they just need some training. This is a kind of a Uber ride, right? So anybody can do a professional work like a taxi driver or something like that. So actually, there are already some translators and interpreters from our industry offering this type of voiceover service. So in addition, with technology developing so fast, TTS, text-to-speech technology, is also an option. So it's almost free and getting better, sounding more natural every day. So TTS is now becoming more suited for some training purpose, like internal training, right? Another reason for high dubbing cost is the manual methods. I mentioned before there are two methods to dub a video: timed recording and post-editing. Timed recording manually done by voice talent, and post-editing manually done by engineers. So now it's an era of AI, so we need to automate this process and save time and make costs down. Innovation is highly needed. Okay. So, okay, we are running a little bit faster than expected. Good, we have more time for questions. Okay, let's quickly summarize. Today we talked about video localization and what goes into it. As we were saying, it may appear to be complicated and costly, but there are ways around that. All we need to do is remember
innovation is constantly happening, so we need to think differently. Use alternative methods if the traditional ones become an obstacle. Choose the right resource for your project needs, not overqualified ones. So educate yourself and help your client to include video localization in their content globalization strategy. This is a very good opportunity for our industry. So don't be intimidated by the video localization process. Embrace it. Thank you very much. Now we have plenty of time for questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, George. It was a very informative and great presentation. Thank you. Maybe may I start with one question? Will the slides available somewhere?
Oh yes. If you like the slides, just let me know. I have a card here, and I can send it to you.
Okay, and as far as I know, GALA will also have some, because this session is recorded, so we will have a kind of PowerPoint presentation combined with voice. So
okay,
will be able.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
It will be,
yeah.
You can access this material through GALA. Okay, question time.
Well, it's another comment regarding the voice actors when you were talking about different levels of voice actors. And one thing you have to really remember is the union. Many voice actors, professional voice actors, are working in union, and also there are many studios also have the contract with the union to use only the union voice actors. So usually, especially if this video is for broadcasting, many that requires the requirements of the using only union actors. And also, once you use union actors, there is a very strict regulation about the pricing. So you have to pay a certain amount of one. So when you get the job, you have to make sure that whether it's required to use union or not to use union. And also when you make a contract with the studio, also you have to make sure that the studio are contracted with the union to use only the union voice actors or not.
Oh, okay.
That's also different from country to country.
Yeah.
So when it's broadcast, for example, you are recording Korean voices that to be broadcasted in Korea, you have to make sure that whether there is a regulation that you can only use the union or not.
Okay. Good to know. This is this is very special. So I have a question for the union. So if the video is just broadcast online, are there any union involved or something?
Thank you. I'm Jay with GM Voices, and it really depends on the voice actor. Voice actors may belong to a union, and then they may be required for you to work within union rules, or they may, depending on the type of video, they usually for e-learning they may not need to abide by the union rules. We tend to bring a business case where we try to work with voice actors outside the union, or voice actors who don't belong to a union. It's much more economical. And there's other ways to, as well, work within this realm, even for broadcasts, is work with the voice actor who may take a simple buyout and be done. And so you don't have to worry about signatory fees or ongoing fees after the fact. And we try to keep it simple in our process.
Yeah, good. Any more questions?
I have one question. What is your opinion? Will the time come when voice talents will be replaced by machines, by generated voice, for example?
Sorry, can you say it again?
Do you think the time will come somewhere when voice talents will be replaced by machines?
Oh, okay. This is, pretty similar. Translators asking if machine can replace translators. So for the technology, so you never know what's going to happen next, right? So and now the technology is developing and it's fast and the machine learning, So I think this is pretty much depends. For our work like translation or voiceover, so there are two parts. So one part is just a translated message. Another part may be a little bit art, right? A little bit art. So like a voiceover is same. So AI does create art too.
Yeah, but these days AIs create arts. They create the photo, pictures, and also they compose.
Yes. So, but my point is the art part is very hard to be replaced. I have an example. So my parents are musicians. So they were very worried about 30 years ago, their job going to be replaced by electronic music. But it never happened, right? So performing arts is still performing arts, yeah? So I think something can be replaced by machine, but not everything. Yeah.
Yes, a text-to-speech voice would not be effective to deliver dynamics and for quality content. To deliver important material, you want to have a natural voice with their ability to deliver the content appropriately.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the great presentation. I have one more question. Do you see this technique that they do sometimes in Germany on the news where they want to let a politician or a diplomat, they really want them to speak in their own language, but they overlay it with a German translation. So you hear the original voice in the background just enough to know they are there and they're not making it up. And then they overlay it, however, louder with the German translation. I always thought this was kind of odd because as a linguist, especially if these were politicians who were talking in the original and they spoke the language, I always try to listen to that too and then at the same time judge the translation. This got very, very challenging. But do you see that? I always thought it was a very odd thing. Either give me a translation or let me hear the original with subtitles. But is that just a European thing? I've never seen this anywhere else.
This just like
that's a German thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
This sounds like interpreting. It's a simultaneous interpreting, right? Yeah. Sometimes, yes.
That's custom in many countries, and there are two aspects behind that. One is sometimes because the sound is not separated as explained. So in many professional videos, they have a hidden soundtrack for the M&E, music and effect, is separate from the dialogues. But sometimes when it's those kind of dialogues are actually regarded as a sound effect, so that's remain, and there is no way you can take that out technically. And another reason, sometimes they do it on purpose to make it clear to the audience understand that that is dubbed, that is not the original voice or not the original languages. Yes. Yeah, so sometimes it's a technical limitation, and sometimes it's on purpose to make it clear that this is not the original sound.
Yeah. Technology is growing so fast, you never know. Yeah.
I do have a question about a specific technology. I mean, I had saw a demo for this new Adobe technology called Voco, which they call as like Photoshop for voice. And I think that was a while ago that I had heard that, and I don't know if that's when we can expect that, or what do you know about that?
There are some kind of new technology like this is developing fast. I don't know when Adobe can release it, formally. So I watched the technology they introduced. So the technology is to, do you familiar with that? No? Okay. So like I just said, it's, to make a change to a voice is hard. So Adobe technology can do some change. Like there is a sentence by, for example, my voice. So they can train their engine with some samples of me. And then for my recording, there are 2 words needs to be changed. Okay, they can just type to the source and change it, and my voice for these 2 words will be generated. So this is sometimes scary. This technology can make people speak anything.
Yeah, it's in your voice. That's the crazy thing. It's like I mean, from my understanding, it trains this engine that recognizes your voice, and then you can use your voice like so. We talk with our digital assistants. The idea is that could be in any voice that you want, right? Yeah. Like your own voice, which would be really strange talking to yourself.
Yeah, but this is detectable. I think it's detectable. It's it's yeah. I don't know when it's gonna be in the market, but I think it's coming.
In the beginning there were the couple videos. You had a Casey Neistat video where he holds up the sign. You had the looks like some kind of video showing with the text over his shoulder, like a training video. Mm-hmm. You said those would be easy to localize. And then the one with all of the images would be harder. What strategies do you have to do localization for embedded text besides just kind of putting text over top of it? Is there anything else that we could do?
It pretty much depends on the video itself. Yeah, there's no too much good way to replace a very complicated on-screen text. Yeah. It pretty much depends on what kind of video. But I think for this kind of on-screen text, it's better, from a localization perspective, it's better not to include this kind of text in the video, right? Yeah, it's better to do that, to make it separate. That's the best way to go.
Sorry, I hope I don't speak too much. But on that case, in professional videos, when they provide the original videos, they provide 2 versions. One is the edited version, and the other one, they called it clean version without any subtitles. So that usually you use the original, the on-screen version as a reference and use the clean version and create your own subtitle, the graphics or subtitles and put on there so that the target audience doesn't see the original languages subtitles at all.
Okay.
Am I clear? In many cases, if it's a professional videos, they provide 2 versions. One is with the subtitle, the on-screen text, and the other one without the on-screen the text so that you can add whatever you like.
Any questions? More? Okay. Thank you very much for attending.